Hey, what's up, everybody? Today is Sunday. It is the weekly close, and we're going to check out some weekly candles and see what's going on here. So, starting off with Theta, right off the bat, we see our weekly candle here, and we are also on a 9. This is a good thing. This is a 9 buy. It's not perfected completely, but it's pretty good. It's a decent 9. It's a good setup. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how exactly this is going to play out. Because my belief here is that we're going to start leveling off down in here and we're going to start working our way back to the upside. So that could take a week. It could take several weeks. I don't know. We'll find out. But yeah, we have a 9 buy on Theta, and we also have this 3-wave move to the downside. The big question is, are we flagging out for a 4 and a 5, or is that all we're going to get? Right? That's the big question. So let's zoom in a little bit here. When we zoom in, we can also see a bit of some bullish divergence here on the daily. Not super strong, but it's there. So that's a good indication that we should be starting to level off here a little bit. So yeah, we could technically now say that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right there. So we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, right? So your A and your B, and now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for our C. Plus, right? So we have a 3-wave pullback. We have an A, B, C. Plus we have 5 waves in C. Plus we're on a, we've had a daily 9 down here, right? And then now we're on a weekly 9. And then plus we have the bullish divergence, right? So that's a lot of reasons to be optimistic. And then we also are right on support. So if you look at where we're at currently, I mean, we're right here on support. And if you drag that out even further, I mean, this thing goes back 3 years, right? So look how far it goes back. It goes back all the way to May of 2022. And this is a very significant area. And that's exactly where we're testing right now. So to me, this level needs to hold. It has to hold. And I think it will hold. So yeah, this is not financial advice. I could be wrong and we could go significantly lower. But to me, I think it's really close to being finished. Again, this could be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. We could have one more low, but I'm not so sure because if you look at it, instead of being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's more so like an A, B, C, right? And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in wave C. So, do we have enough structure? Not completely. I would like to see a little bit more here. So we've been consolidating for about a couple weeks now. So yeah, I want to see a little bit of a stronger base in here. Let's zoom in a little bit. So it's really hard to know exactly what it's going to do when you're in these ranges, but we could see a little bit of a Wyckoff in here, something like that, right? Unless it's already complete, and there was your Wyckoff, something like that. So is this your creek, or do we have to go up and make another creek? We'll see. I don't know. The more we go sideways, the better, but you don't want to go too much, So we're going to want to start to see evidence that a bottom has formed. A lot of times, what would be really cool to see is you can see this move here. We had a 3-wave move here, and then we come up to the top, we have 3 up, right? So we had 3 down, we get 3 up, and then we come down 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a fast 5, come back up, and then start to go. That would be like the ultimate. I would love to see that. That would be very bullish because it would really throw people a curveball. You know what I mean? It would, because people, I would imagine, are accumulating down here, and people have their stop losses in here, right? And if they feel comfortable with the range, sometimes it can go to the upside and take some liquidity, then come all the way down here, take that liquidity, and then bring it back up, right? So there's a lot of shenanigans that happen. But if you just, keep your poker face and hold strong in your position, you're, you know, better than most people who are getting washed out, washed in, washed out. So, anyways, that would be a good sign, is some kind of move that flushes the low and then quickly comes back. Like you can see it like a Wyckoff pattern, right? Something like this, right? Where you go 1, 2, 3, and then you come down in your spring, you break the low down here, and then you quickly reverse, play around, and then go back up. So that's the structure that is really exciting to see when we do see it. And you could even argue that that already happened here, right? So, for example, let's do it like this. We have this move up. So we have 1, 2, 3, right? And then you come down in your creek. It didn't really break the low, but it revisited it, right? And then you come back up, get back up here, and then continue higher. So if we kind of compare, I kind of have them both in my screen. You can kind of see them side by side there, right? Again, right here. 1, 2, 3, spring, go. So 1, 2, 3, come down in your spring. Maybe this is our moment to get going here. And if that's the case, then we should see some big price moves this week. But I'm not, holding my breath or anything. I think it could take even longer, though. I think it could take another couple weeks for that to play out, because we don't know if this is the spring or we have to come up here and then get that spring. You know what I mean? So we could see something like that. So those are the kind of the two ideas I'm thinking here. If the low is going to hold, if it's not going to hold, then the bearish idea would be that we still need one more wave down, get the bullish divergence, then make a range, then go up, right? So those are the two ideas I'm thinking. So either this is kind of a Wyckoff play, we head up soon, either this wave or the next wave, or this is a fourth wave, we're going to break down to the fifth range and then go up. So either one of those, I think, is a good idea. So that's it for Theta. One thing real quick, we could take our fib line and just draw it right there. And the area we want to see, obviously, is breaking the range, but really we want to stay above $1.50. If we can hold and stay above $1.50, especially close that on a weekly candle, that would be a good thing. Let's see, the weekly candle is not the greatest one, but at the same time, it's actually really good, because you can see it's sort of, you have this candle here with the wick on the bottom, or the wick on the top, the wick on the bottom. That's telling me that it's kind of like, a magnet pulling it from this side and a magnet pulling from this side. So it's kind of like stuck in there, it does, you know what I mean? So, and since the wave is coming down, you can see we're going down, and then you get that type of candle, that means that it doesn't want to go down anymore. It's holding up. Now either you consolidate and continue down, but as of right now, it's holding up. So yeah, we got some time, but I'm still really like this three wave shape. I'm just not convinced that it's finished. Again, this could be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we finish, right? And then we come back down to the bottom here and test this area. And you can see how significant that area is right in here, right? And then start to continue higher. So it's going to be one of those options. We just have to wait and find out. But when you look at Monero, what a completely different chart. I mean, look at this. You look at Theta, right? And we've been going down pretty aggressively, right? For weeks. How long has this been now? We've been going down for 11 weeks. So think about that for a minute. Think about the psychological state of everybody's investment. Everyone's, we've been going down for 11 weeks, week after week after week after week after week, going down, 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 right? So that's a psychological effect on sentiment. And that's what you want. You want people to give up. You want people to throw in the towel. You want people to say, yeah, it's never going back, right? Because when you get to that, big moment, that's when things start turning around. Because nobody expects it at that point, right? Everyone thinks it's going to keep going down. So you go down 11 weeks, what's another 12? What's another 13? What's another 15 weeks, right? Because people get complacent and they believe that it's going to keep going down forever, when in reality, that's not the case. Now, if you look at this move over here, this actually went down for 21 weeks. So twice as long, twice as long as the one we are now, right? Which is interesting because they look almost the same in length, but this one came down a little bit more aggressively. So, of course, you had a lot more consolidation in here, right? This one's kind of like straight down, get it over with. And that's how C waves usually act, right? They're fast and furious. A waves are scary because they last a while and they're big. B waves are traps. They get people excited, but they're a trap. It's a three-wave trap. And then C waves are designed to, just flush the remaining, just completely obliterate the price very fast to the downside. So, but when you look at Monero, and we'll go back 11 weeks here. So that's right around there. Or actually, I could just throw it on the screen because I have it right here. I mean, you could see the difference pretty well. So you can see kind of side by side here, completely different chart, right? So let's take a look, and let me get rid of that now. That doesn't mean Monero is going to have a better percentage. It just means that right now, structurally speaking, Monero is in a lot better of a shape. And part of the reason is because it's been correcting a lot longer, right? If you have two Olympic runners and they're racing each other, and one guy took a 2-hour break and the other guy only took a 5-minute break, who do you think is going to have more energy at the end of the race? You see what I mean? So, for example, Theta went in a massive bull run in 2021, going up, what was it, like 40,000% or something. But Monero only came back to the basically to the top here, and it created this big range. Boom, 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 sideways, right? So that's the most bullish structure, in my opinion, in charts anywhere in the world, is a chart like this, because of all the phases it went through to get to where it needed. So this cake wasn't baked overnight. This thing took years and years to develop just to get to this moment, the moment we're living in right now. It's impressive, right? Versus something like Theta, you know, it had a massive bull run. It was a big, huge bubble, and we popped the bubble. And now we're sort of just trying to recoup that, trying to get that accumulation in so that we can start our next bubble, right? And a lot of times that will be like a W pattern here, right? So it is on logs linear, or whoops, it's on, there we go, that's log scale, a little bit better. So it, just because one's weak and one's weak at the moment doesn't mean it's going to always be weak. They rotate, you know what I mean? So go back to Monero here. So why would Monero be so bullish right now? I mean, what would be the reason, right? Well, it's really not bullish as far as price. I mean, it's $234. That's the same price it was back in February of 2018 or December of 2017. So, that's a long time, man. I mean, it's the same price. I mean, think about all the inflation we've had since 2017, 2018, right? So to me, it's a little bit undervalued in some aspects. However, this thing did go up in a massive bull run, right? But the difference is it's been flagging out for a long time in here. And I like to compare this to, look at this. You can see Bitcoin on the bottom here. And, one second, you could see Monero on top, right? And you could see that it's basically printed that same style structure here, right? Where you have this big accumulation. But keep in mind, Bitcoin's was way smaller, right? This was 18 to 2021. And this is 2018 to 2025. So it's much more in time. And yeah, so basically what happened here was we had a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation. We went sideways for so long, right? But look what Bitcoin did. Same thing. Rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation. Look how much we went sideways, right? That's when Bitcoin decided to go up to $70,000 from, what was it, 9 or 10,000 at the time, right? So let me just put that right there. Maybe squeeze it a little bit more right there. Trying to fit it in a little bit better. It's a little difficult because look at all those years right there. That's a lot of years right there versus down here. So it's a much bigger structure, which means it should have a more sustainable bull run, where Bitcoin only went up just, it took several months and it was over. Well, we'll see what happens with Monero. But the biggest thing here is the zone right here that we were in. So this is your zone, right? And then same thing over here. Here's your zone right in here. And you can see when we compare the zones, let me just zoom out a little bit. You can see we're breaking above that zone, right? Just as we did back over with Bitcoin. Now it's taking a little bit longer. You could see when Bitcoin broke, if I put the range like this, it's a little bit subjective, but that might be a little bit better. Yeah, I like that better. Look at that. That's perfect. So you could see we have a hit there, a hit there, a hit there, right? got some hits down there. And then we broke out, and then we came all the way down. We back tested, and then we went sideways, and then we continued higher. Well, look what Monero did. It's kind of doing the same thing, right? It broke out, it back tested, and now it's starting to continue higher. So this could be where we are right now for Monero. So where Monero is where Bitcoin was back in October of or September of 2020, right? And how high did Bitcoin go from that area? So that's like buying Bitcoin at about 11K or 10.5, right? So that's like a 10x from where it is now, right? And it was only about a 6. Let's see, what was the percentage from here to the top? About, we'll go to 68K. That's about 500% or so. Okay, let me just take a quick screenshot first. That was a good side-by-side comparison right there. And there you go. I kind of highlighted it a little bit. You can see all of this area in here is all the same as kind of this area in here, right? But it just took so much longer in time. So it's going to be very interesting how this develops. I think it's going to be very bullish. So, all right. Well, back to the weekly chart. Just wanted to show that comparison real quick. Yeah, the weekly chart is okay. Here's my concern with Monero. The thing that I don't know is, and it helps when you zoom out here, is this going to just continue going up, which is very possible and even likely, or is it a flat, right? Is it a B wave? Is it a trap? That's what we don't know. So like A, B, does this have to come down for a C, retest the lows, and then go up? That's what we don't know. And if we didn't have this wick right here, right? Remember, that was the biggest liquidation in crypto history back over there. And look at that. It didn't even affect Monero at all. It didn't even flinch, right? If it wasn't for this big move down here, I would say that I would be leaning towards the price having to come back down, A, B, C, back down here before we go up. But since we've had this, since we had that, it technically, A, B, C, it technically did come down and test that area, and it got bought up very quickly, right? Remember, that was one of the largest liquidations in history, and it's back. It's already back at the top of the range here, right? So if the largest liquidation event in crypto history couldn't bring it down and hold it down, then why would it come down later on? You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But that's kind of the two ideas I'm leaning towards, right? It's like, well, what do you do? Do you buy it now, or do you wait with the expectation of it coming down here? Well, for me, it would have to be, since we don't know, it would have to be both, right? Because I'm not going to count on it to come down here. If I had $100, I would put like $75 right now, and if it dropped back down, I'd throw in the 25, or do it the opposite. Maybe $50 here, $50 down here. But there's no guarantee that it's going to come down. I mean, this thing could be getting, and it's already taken so long that I just, that's another concern, right? Because, yeah, so if we zoom in a little bit, it gets a little bit less aesthetically pleasing because it's still very corrective. Because this could be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this could be an A, and this could be a B, and then now we're coming down for a C, right? But I don't think that's what it is. I think this is 3. I think this is 3, and I think this is 3, and I think this is a 1, 2, and I think this is also a 1, and we're flagging out for a 2, which happens to be the most bullish thing you can ask for Monero, right? So I want to see it flag out a little bit lower. We can come down, as long as we're above $200, we're good. And then flag out and break out and go. If I put a line right here, you can see where we are. We're basically above this swing high over here. So we're above the swing high, and we're currently testing it right now. So resistance, we come up here, came back down, came back up, we poked above it a little bit, came back down, came back up, resistant, higher low, and then came back up. Like it wasn't even nothing. We broke above it. Now we're sort of testing. So this is the first time that Monero's had a good time to actually test, right? And you can see she's really tight right now. I mean, she's just range bound, and she's just waiting for someone to pick her up. So let's see a little bit closer here. Ooh, I like the 1 hour and the 4 hour too. I like this little move we got going on here. I don't think it's ready to go for it yet. Today is Sunday. So today's Sunday, and crypto is not getting completely obliterated, which is a good sign. As long as crypto doesn't get annihilated on Sundays, I think that's a good, successful Sunday, right? But the fact that it's even kind of pumping right now, if we look at the prices here, it's pretty much flat. You got some things that are down, Ripple's kind of down, or hbar 3%, Filecoin 1%, 2% for Matic. Ethereum's up about a little bit there, and then Monero is basically flat. So, but it's all about the wave structure, right? And the wave structure, I'm starting to see, right? It's very complex. This is a very difficult structure, but I like how we quickly come back up. We come down, we quickly come back up, and we're pounding and pounding and pounding up here. So we're definitely knocking on the door. But what I wanted to explain here is this right here. Look at this. We're starting to get a 3-wave move. So this over here, when we were going up, I didn't like it. But now that we're going down, this is good, right? A, B, C. We're starting to get 3 waves in here. That's what we want, right? So that's my thing, is it finished? And I don't have there it is, my RSI. And yeah, look at the RSI. We have major bullish divergence on the 1 hour right there. Let's see if we bump that up to the 4 hour. It's just too close, I think. But yeah, you could see boom, and then there we had bullish divergence, looking good. And then also, see the 2 hour chart here. Yeah, because you can see this is negative, right? See how it's kind of doing this, and now it's coming back down. So that's a good thing. That's what we want, right? So we want to be flagging out. We want to be channeling down, right? Not channeling up. Now, sometimes you can break to the upside by channeling up, but most of the time you want to be channeling to the downside. So I really like this wave here. This wave right here, it reminds me of the COVID wave. Now look at this. Now if you look at Bitcoin here, back in the COVID days, you can see, right, you had a big drop down, right, and then it quickly came back up, and then it kind of coiled in here. Well, and it's kind of interesting because that's exactly where we are right now when we were just sharing that other example. But if we look here, and let me tone this down maybe to the daily. And if we look at it now, we take that off. There we go. Let's take that off. There we go. You can see, right? You got your drop. You got your drop. You come back up very, very instantly, right? And then you kind of go sideways a little bit right there. Same thing right there. You go sideways. And then what you do is you pop the high, and then you kind of coil in a channel towards the downside, right? You're coiling down. Kind of like what we're doing here, right? We broke to the upside. We're kind of coiling down. So what would be the next order of business? Well, we would break out, do this little tabletop or Bart Simpson head, come back down, right? And then start your parabola. So if we sort of, let me knock that up a little bit more there. If we kind of assumed that's what it was going to do here, right? Boom, 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 pop up, kind of go sideways, something like that. That would be very, very impressive to see something like that, right? Get a little bit of a pop, maybe one more back test, and something like this. That would be great to see, right? So, anyways, that's Monero. This thing can go at any moment. You know, it's primed. It is very primed. I mean, this thing has been 7 years in the making, and I'm not a Monero fanboy, right? I don't even care about the coin. I have no care in the world. Like, who cares? I just like the chart, right? It could be, you know, someone said Bitcoin Cash, right? You know, you got your Dash. We were just looking at Dash too yesterday. It's got a different type of, you know, I'm starting to look at the OGs because some of the OGs, they didn't go on a bull run in 2021. So they basically been long and forgotten, right? So people kind of forget about, like, oh yeah, they didn't do anything last cycle, so why would they do anything this cycle? Well, XRP didn't do anything last cycle. Look what it's doing now. Yeah, but that's XRP. I mean, you can't compare that, right? I mean, that's a legit like top of the line crypto right there. And that's true, right? So, you know, when I look at Monero, when I look at Dash, EOS, Bitcoin Cash, they're kind of all in the same category in a way, right? Ethereum Classic to some extent. They're in their sort of little world, right? Now, that doesn't mean they're going to do well. That doesn't mean they're going to do, they could just, but they've stood the test of time, and that's what matters, right? You don't measure a coin through its strongest moment. You measure a coin through its weakest moment. Like Ripple XRP, you know, they got sued, they got delisted from exchanges, they got annihilated in the run because they didn't get a bull run. So they didn't get a bull run, number one. They got delisted, number two. And they had a lawsuit, number three. And XRP still was in the top 10, right? If that happened to any other coin on the planet, it would have been knocked out of the top 10 so fast your head would spin. But XRP got delisted. It had a lawsuit. And pretty much it didn't go on a bull run. And it still held a top 10 title, right? So, but yeah, that's pretty much it here. So again, this thing could be going at any moment here. It could be like an A, a B, maybe we get a bigger C where we kind of test down here and then go up. So there's still some question marks, but it's looking really good. It's looking, I couldn't ask for anything more, you know, because I'm holding this. I'm trading this. I've been trading it. I've been holding it. You know, I really got interested in here when it started flagging out. And then ever since we broke out, we back tested a double tap. I've been really excited to see what it's got. So when you compare that to something like Dash, it looks a little bit different than the chart that I saw. There, this is the chart I remember. It looks like completely two different charts here. Or maybe that was from something else. Okay, yeah, this is the chart. So Dash looks pretty good. You know, you got a big impulse. I remember Gregory Mannarino talking about how he picked up Dash and he was so confident in it. And look how that turned out. It was a disaster. Should have stuck with XRP, but anyways, if I'm holding Dash, I would just keep holding it. My favorite thing about it, like I said yesterday, you got a three-way pullback, but then also you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You have 7 waves down over the course of many, many years, right? And now you're starting to level off. To me, it's super, super low risk, right? And high reward, in my opinion, right? It could keep going down and it is extremely risky, don't get me wrong. The coin is risky, but the chart is actually not. It actually looks decent. So I wouldn't buy it yet. I don't own any. I wouldn't buy it yet. I would want to wait and see if there's a little bit more here I can latch onto. But yeah, so far it looks good. I mean, you got a solid move there. What about Bitcoin Cash? Let's check about that one here. That was another OG back in the day. Let me get rid of all that. So Bitcoin Cash, same kind of thing, but it's a little bit more developed. You have your impulse. You also have a 3-wave pullback here, right? And look what happened down here. It actually looks pretty good. You see, this is a really good example, guys. This is an excellent example. So see how we come down and we shoot up and then we drizzle down, and look at that. We grab that liquidity, we come back up higher low, and then boom, let's go. Right? That's exactly what we're experiencing now for a lot of these coins, right? If I just go to, let me just look at Ethereum real quick, and then I go down to the smaller time frame, you can see that same kind of thing where you had a big move down, drizzle, but this one didn't go all the way down here like some of them did, right? Let's see what others is doing. Looks pretty good. So let me go back to Bitcoin Cash now, if I could find it. There we go. Yeah, so we kind of pumped down, drizzle, came back up, another low here. So it's kind of shaping into a W here a little bit. So let me go back to the 4-day, zoom completely out, and you can see bottom, right? Bottom. We sort of had this little M-shaped bottom, if you will. And then zoom back in here. Maybe some sort of something similar in here, right? Where we kind of, that same style bottom, you know what I mean? So I don't know. Would I own it? I don't own it. I don't know if I would own it. It could be good. I just don't. This is probably my least favorite chart because it's gone up. It's gone up in 3 waves, right? Or is that even 5? It looks corrective to me. It doesn't look like you could say that this is a 1, 2, 1, 2, right? Or yeah, I just don't like it. I just don't like this. I just don't know what's going on there. Just not sure. Now I do like this move here. This could be 3 up, okay? And this could be 3 down, and then maybe we get 5 up. You know what I mean? So that would be kind of the best case scenario, and then you get another 3 up like you did back over here. Come down, you know? So, and then someone said EOS. Let's check out EOS. I remember buying it when it first came out and made some good money, but it wasn't that good, it had its ups and downs, but it came out, it crashed, and then it just rampaged to the upside. And I remember being in that, and at the time, like if we look at XRP, XRP was kind of just going sideways for a little bit. XRP didn't wake up till a little bit later on. But anyways, let's take a look here at EOS. Yeah, it's kind of, I mean, it's gotten beat up massively. And here's the thing. We don't like Dash, EOS, Bitcoin Cash. Who's developing on these networks? Who's building on these networks? Who's using these networks? Right? Are they overvalued? Are they undervalued? That's what the fundamentals and the tokenomics and all that really matters when you look at stuff like this. Because I just don't know, if it's a good investment. When the chart says, yeah, it's a good investment, but the logistics of everything, I just don't really know. But I will tell you, it's gotten beat up pretty viciously. And sometimes even when you look at the stock market, it takes a long time for charts to sort of revamp and get redeveloped. But we have an impulse, right? You got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. And you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 A. You got a big B. And then here's what's really cool. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, right? And I bet there's bullish divergence like there's no tomorrow. Let's go to the weekly chart and let's see if there's bullish divergence here. Oh yeah, look at that. That is insane. EOS probably has more bullish divergence than any other chart right now. Just because of how long it's been just totally beaten up. I don't know the founder. Like, I know Bix Weir said he didn't like the guys at EOS for some reason. Was it Brock Pierce or somebody? He said he was like a child predator. I don't know. I have no idea if that's true or not. But who knows? I'm not that kind of guy that would know that information. But Bix Weir, I love that guy. And he has done a lot of research on it. And he swears by EOS. It's a bad thing. But who knows? I'm just here to make money at the end of the day. EOS, again, we got this huge trying to remove my, all right, so we have this huge bullish divergence here. We got a 3-way pullback. We have 5 waves. We have clear 5 waves down. So yeah, I think this is a very low risk opportunity, but a very high risk because we don't know what the future is here. Like, I don't know. Is EOS still posting? Are they developing? I mean, that's just what I would have to do research on it and to see exactly, what's their game plan? Are they still operational? Like, nobody hears about them. You know what I mean? So I still think they're still rocking and rolling. I just don't know to what extent. But yeah, I do like this wave structure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you got triple bullish divergence, not on the daily, but on the weekly, right? You got a pretty big impulse. You got a 3-way pullback. I mean, let's see if we can kind of, I would imagine instead of it sharp move up, I would imagine it kind of would create a base here because you want to get away from the scene of the crime a little bit. We want to start going sideways, and you can say, well, we've been going sideways, but you kind of want it to be a little bit tighter, right? It kind of reminds me of Theta in a way. When we look at Theta real quick, you can see right here on the price of Theta how it starts to slant down. There we go. Here's Theta. You could see right, oh no, that's not Theta. Right here's Theta. Here, okay, there we go. Let's go to the 3-day chart. Okay, so you see this right here. You see how it's starting to slant down like there, right at the end of the wave. That's kind of where, that kind of reminds me of what this is here. So, and look at that. It's actually in the same spot, right? Except it's bigger. And was there any bullish divergence here on the weekly? There was, but not really, not as strong. Definitely nowhere near EOS. EOS has major. I mean, it's triple there. I mean, it's very clear. But what I was getting at is you could see what happened after that. We went up in 3 and then we came down in 3. So maybe where EOS is right here, right there. Right? So we have this boom, 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 boom. And then what comes next? A big spike to the high, big spike to the high. But guess what? It has to come back down and then do something like this and then maybe go back up later on. Right? So it definitely has a lot of work to do. But yeah, it's an interesting chart nonetheless. I will definitely keep tabs on it throughout the years. I'm not going to follow it every day, but I think it could be in a good spot sometime in the future. Because see how we're slanting here? What we want to do is go sideways and then start going up, right? So you have the sell side of the curve. Then you want to flatten out in here, total depression, right? And then continue higher. It's kind of like the Wall Street cheat sheet, right? So you can see it right in here. You can see, look at that. We're slanting down right there. You see that? So EOS is kind of like right here. It's in the depression phase, right? And then it's got to go into disbelief, but then it's got to kind of go back down a lot. And they don't really show that here. Before it can start the big run up. You know what I mean? Okay, XRP. I know we've been waiting for XRP. XRP, what are you doing here? Just look at that chart, man. I mean, this should be a Picasso painting. You know, this should be, something. This should be painted. Like, look how beautiful it looks. Immaculate. There's, what can I say, except it's pretty nice. We are currently right at the cusp of something monumental when it comes to XRP. So we're so close that it could just bite you, it's really, really close. But the weekly chart is good, I like the weekly candle. You can say, well, it's red. Well, it's got a nice tail at the end, at the bottom here, and it's resting above 50% of this green candle here, which is good, right? So you could see it tested it down the lower part of this candle, and it's holding nicely, right? Still looking at XRP as an expanded flat. A, B, C, right? Now we're kind of going sideways, and eventually we should kick off and go on up. So we'll see how that plays out. I found a kind of a cool clip on X in regards to market cap for XRP. Look at that 3-wave pullback. I didn't even look at that. That's getting nice. That's getting developed. I'm liking the way it's getting developed here, right? So what we're seeing here is we're getting 3 waves up, okay? And now we're getting 3 waves down, and then maybe we kind of come up here, maybe hit the low a little bit, regardless, kind of go sideways, but eventually start moving up. So probably not completely done yet. It might take another week, maybe 2 weeks, but I think it's getting there. I think it's looking nice. Again, with this structure, it kind of reminds me of what happened back in the day here when we look at XRP. Remember that structure right here, right? See how it kind of slanted down, it hit the low, right? It looks really good. It came up in 3, and then it came down in 3. Then it shot the high, then it went sideways, and then it continued. So if we look at what's going on right now, it's kind of the same thing, right? You got that little slant, big move down, up in 3, down in 3, right? Maybe we can knock up here, go sideways a little bit, then eventually break out. So really not much else to say on XRP, except let's look a little bit closer here. When you look closer, it doesn't look as nice, but you still got this 3-wave shape here developing. I would like to see, yeah, I wish this would have broken the low here and then quickly came up. That would have been a good sign. Let's see, is there a downward resistance line right there? Yeah, I mean, there's a pretty nice line here. Let me see if I could get a little bit better right about there. And then we also have a line here. I don't like that line at all because it doesn't really line up really nicely. Or does it? Let's see. Yeah, I guess it's okay. So we have like an apex working here. I don't even know if this would go out. Nope, it's gonna stay right there. So there you go. I mean, where's it gonna go? You know, this thing is holding nicely down here, and it's holding nicely up here. So this thing should break out by the end of the month. Which, by the way, we have a monthly candle. The monthly candle is gonna end in 5 days, guys. It's going to end in 5 days. So it's going to end this week. And look at that. It's going to end on Friday. So it's going to end on the 28th. So if we look at the monthly candle, that's actually way more important than the weekly candle. We can see it's very bullish, right? So every candle tells a story, and you can see right here, you know, we broke out. Right, this was your big engulfing break candle, right? The candle that kickstarted it. This candle here, it broke out, it tested the waters, and then it said no thanks. And then people, you know, reality was setting in, and then boom, we got this next candle that kicked it off, right? And then this candle, the red candle, is actually one of the most important candles because this candle came all the way back down and it's back testing a very key area, which is right there, right? So you could see monthly candle breaks out, then it comes down and back test. We got a nice wick off of this line here, which is a massive line. I mean, this thing goes back, what, 7 years, right? And ever since we've broken out of this, I mean, remember everybody and their mother would draw this line right here when it came to XRP. I mean, it was just, and everybody wanted it to break out so bad, but the candles weren't even near the line at the time. And then they were just way down here, and then all of a sudden it sliced through it like it was not even there. So the line that everybody emphasized really didn't mean anything, to put it mildly, you know. And then we also had another line down here, and to me, I think that one was more important, because it told us when to accumulate, right? So yeah, everything is firing on all cylinders, and since I have the triangle up, obviously it is an A, B, C, D, E triangle, right? And typically these triangles are going to go at least to the 161A, if not even higher than that. So, yeah, we're still looking at, you know, $7 to $10, you know what I mean? So, got some good times ahead. All right, that's enough for XRP. Let's scan around here and see if we can find anything else. What's up with Bitcoin? See, I'm not really liking Bitcoin right now. on the monthly candle, it's kind of, it's getting stalled in here, and there's a difference between it stalling down like this, like a nice flag, versus it stalling like this. I think we could pop one more high, and maybe that would be it. Yeah, it's not so bad. I mean, it looks like an ABC. It looks like it's ranging here. Not too bad. Exactly how it was ranging down here, right? A, B, C, A, B, C, 1, 2, 1, 2 breakout. Maybe we get a 1, 2, 1, 2 breakout, but that doesn't mean the low is in. We could still, because this is a very tight range. Volatility is really weak right now, which means a big move is brewing, right? You can see, look at all those wicks, look at all those doji candles. I mean, something's brewing in here, and it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. But other than that, nothing really has changed. I mean, you had this little spike, a little bit of a three-wave move here. Let's see if we can follow through in some way. Let's see, what else? hbar, not really interesting. Again, remember that Bitcoin Cash. Remember, we hit down, right? We spike up, and then what do? Drizzle, 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 all the way down, and it just terrifies everyone, but then eventually it comes back up, right? We saw that on the Bitcoin Cash example. And that's usually how it kind of plays out. So that's kind of what we're waiting for, is we want to see a base. We don't want to see it falling anymore. We want to see it go sideways, and then we want to see it go up, right? ADA is definitely different. There is no drizzle with ADA. We had it already, but then now it's kind of stuck up here. So it looks a little bit stronger at the moment, right? So not too bad at all. Filecoin, not really interesting. Kind of flagging out. Looks like it needs a breakdown, then go sideways, then continue. I mean, that's pretty much it. Matic looks like it's going to take the low. Matic is very weak. And I have some high hopes for Matic because of the three-wave pullback. Right? You got 3, you got 3, and you got 3. It looks really good. But this could be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Right? Which is okay. And you get divergence. Then you got to go sideways. Then so it's going to take time, I think, here for some of them. Ethereum looks way better. Ethereum looks good now. I like Ethereum now. You got 3 down, you got 3 up, and you got 3 back down. You got a beautiful three-wave move. You're going sideways in here. Looks really good. So, look, I'm not an Ethereum guy. I don't like Ethereum. But I still think there's a lot of value. There's, it could take a little while. I just don't really like this. It looks like a move down. Looks like we need one more move down, and then kind of go sideways and then continue up. It's not, the small time frames are just not clear yet, right? We're ranging in here, and that's pretty much all we know. But and usually when it doesn't make sense, it's not finished. It needs time to finish. So let's just give it time, and we should see it continue into mature. So Trump may be a good play soon. Litecoin is the one. This is the one you should keep an eye on, because this looks really good. Kind of creeping in here. Kind of got the Monero, EOS, Dash, kind of the OG status. But Litecoin is by far on the top radar, and Monero as far as the OGs go. If I could pick any OG, Litecoin and Monero for sure, right? So anyways, I'll touch more on Litecoin later, but that'll do it for this video. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Remember, nothing is financial advice. I could be completely wrong. Always know that. But anyways, I will catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.